Hey everybody, I'm Dennis Smith, and I want to welcome you to this chat today called Udemy Life. And this is interviews for part of my new book that I'm going to be releasing fall of 2015. And I'm lucky today to have Udemy instructor Jeremy Deighan with me from Jacksonville, Florida. And we're just going to be talking about Udemy and this whole Udemy lifestyle. So welcome, Jeremy. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks, Dennis. I appreciate it, and I'm glad to be on here.
Great. This is just going to be a casual format. I'm just going to be asking some questions to help other Udemy instructors kind of take a look at what others are doing, like you, myself, and the other instructors that I'm going to be interviewing, as well as new instructors, because we know. I mean, you've been on Udemy about 4 months now, I believe, and I've been on here for 15 months. So we'll sit here and chat. So the first thing that I want to ask you is, do you remember when you first came across Udemy?
Yeah, I was listening to Nick Loper's Side Hustle Nation podcast,
Ah,
and I heard Scott Britton on there talking about Udemy, and I had been listening to a lot of podcasts, Pat Flynn, Nick Loper, a bunch of people, and just trying different things to see what kind of fit with me. And
mm-hmm.
wife always told me that I was a good teacher, and I have a lot of stuff that I like to do. So I was like, hey, I'll give it a shot. Hopped on there, made an account, made a course, and the first course did really good. And I was like, wow, I can't believe that, I'm doing this. I'm making that income that everyone's looking for online. And it was just really satisfying. So I immediately made more courses.
Awesome. So were you doing online courses before Udemy? Just somebody just told you to you came across it on Side Hustle Nation, which I watch and I chat with Nick sometimes. So
Yeah, basically, I'm new to the online business world, so I've been around computers and stuff for a very long time, but I've always kept jobs. And it wasn't until I got back into my 3D animation, which is what my degree is in, and I found out that you could like sell 3D assets online, and that kind of interests me. And I heard this guy talking about smart passive income with Pat Flynn podcast.
mm-hmm.
I started listening to it, and this was the end of last year of 2014. And I just was really intrigued because Pat has a lot of people with different things going on his podcast, and I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, I can't believe that this world is out here that I don't even know about, and people making money online with all these different things. So at beginning of 2015, I said, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to get online and see what I can do to start making some money online. The first and only other thing I've really done has been selling T-shirts on some of the T-shirt websites. And that was pretty good, but it was you had to spend a lot of money advertising, which I don't really have capital to do right now. So I was making some money, but wasn't really being able to push it to where I wanted to push it to. And then, like I said, I found Udemy. It was easy to get started, set up an account, put a course out, and instantly started seeing revenue from it. I wouldn't say little work because it did take a lot of work, but it just amazed me about what I got back from what I put into it.
Mm-hmm. So you launched your first course about 4 months ago. What was that course? What was it about?
So the first course I launched, it was at the end of May, and I think I launched it. It was only about 6 days left in May, and it was a Canva course. Canva is an
Mm-hmm.
online graphic design software for anyone who doesn't know. It makes it really easy for you to go on there and make books and social media graphics and presentations, any kind of graphic you need. They have a lot of pre-made templates, and I was using the software and messing around with it because I saw a lot of people into it, and I got into it because it's just really fun. It's a fun piece of software. So I was like, man, I've been learning this software. I could probably teach someone else how to use this, just kind of like the basics. And so it was kind of a basic course. It's now called Canva course, great images with no graphic design experience, because it's just there to show you how to use that software. That last week of May, I mean, I made about $25, and I was just like, wow, this is cool. Like my first real money online aside from the t-shirt thing. But like I said, with the t-shirt thing, I had to put a lot of money into it to get it rolling. Where
Yeah.
Udemy, I just had to put a lot of time and effort into it to get it rolling.
Mm-hmm. How many courses are you up to now? 4 months into it.
I have 5 courses. So after I created that Canva course, I have a background in design and audio and video and things of that nature. So I really like, color theory, composition, this kind of stuff. So I figured, I know a lot of people would like to have the Canva course and they're using it for social media graphics. Why don't I make a course that kind of gives you an insight into the theory of behind using graphics? So it's kind of taking a graphic artist perspective, but trying to explain it to people, just everyday business people, students, whoever, that can kind of take some of that information and use it to make their graphics better. So I first made a free course, which is just kind of an intro course to graphic design theory in Canva. And then I made a 2-volume set that was a lead away from that course. So I had the beginner course, then I had a 3-part series on teaching graphic design theory, and then my last course I made was a course on personal branding. So I'm up to 5 now.
So let me ask you, which of those is your most popular course, and which one is your most favorite that you had the most enjoyment creating?
That's a really good question. I really enjoyed making all of them. Udemy's fun. It's fun teaching people. It's fun, making these courses, trying different things. So I would say with each course progression that I've made, I've tested different things, which we can talk about. And so each of them have been fun in their own ways because I got to try different things. Now, as to date, I'm looking at the screen over here. My highest earning course is Canva course, Graphic Design Theory and Social Media Volume 1. So that is the course that teaches you the graphic design theory. Of course, the other one is free. It has a lot more students.
Yeah.
And then the subsequent course would be Volume 1. It has made the most. And then Volume 2 has made about 60% of that. The first course I made, it did okay. I think it got my name out there and kind of showed people what I was doing. It's also a cheaper course, but it hasn't done as good as Volume 1 and Volume 2. The personal branding course, I tried a different kind of strategy when I launched it, and it really hasn't done much at all.
Yeah, I know. The free courses tend to do well as far as adding students, and I always, that's a great way to, for those who are listening to this interview, is that the free courses help build your student enrollment, which when somebody like Jeremy or even myself as a Udemy instructor add more courses, at some point we can advertise or market to those other students. Now, you can't specifically market to students in your free courses, but if you change them over to a paid course, you certainly can do that. So, what kind of tips? Why don't you give me a few tips that you have for both current Udemy instructors and also newbie instructors on some course creation tips? I know that you have a lot of expertise in audio and video because you do some of that outside the Udemy realm. So what advice would you give?
Okay, yeah, awesome question. So, just some basic things for beginners, I would say. If you haven't made a course, make one, just whatever it is. I think you have to have a minimum of 30 minutes. It's generally nice to have an hour-long course, I think is the acceptable range. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to make an hour course. And I think beginners really get bogged down into trying to make that perfect end all be all course that they're going to sell millions of dollars on Udemy for. And it's just not like that. You need to make a course and go through the process. You need to learn Udemy. It's a learning process because it's a new platform for you. So understand how Udemy works, how to set up a course, little things like making sure you're a premium instructor before you launch your course. I made the mistake where I made this course, I launched it, and then didn't realize I had to be a premium instructor before I could charge people for it. So then I had to wait, the waiting process to be a premium instructor a couple of days or whatever. But little things like that add up. So it's good to go through and learn the process of creating a course. So I just say make one. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to kind of learn the process. And then once you kind of learn the pricing strategies and how Udemy works, then you can start understanding what kind of course you want to make, if it's going to be a high quality course or if you're going to make a series of courses. For advanced, intermediate to advanced Udemy instructors, my biggest tip, and I'm still kind of a newbie at this, but my biggest tip, especially learning from the t-shirt game and advertising on Facebook, is to test, test, test. You want to test everything that you can, and testing means taking just one variable and changing it and seeing if that makes a difference in your analytics or your sales. It might be your course title, your course description, your image, your promotional video, how you market, how you advertise. Just keep testing and make sure that you record those things. That's one thing that I learned how to do really well, is to open up a spreadsheet and start, putting these variables down and what difference it makes, so I can go back and see the big picture. Okay, well, I changed my course image and I haven't had a sale in 3 weeks. Obviously, that might be causing a problem. It's not, people aren't noticing my course like they used to. Let me change it back and see what happens, then record that. So that would be my biggest takeaway for intermediate to advanced instructors, is just make sure you're testing all the time and trying different things to see what works.
I think that that's great advice. I always kind of remind people that if you try something like that, and let's say in a couple of days you're like, this isn't working, don't give up then. Let it go a little bit longer before you change strategies, because sometimes it takes a while for some of those things to start working, and you don't want to miss opportunity by switching too quickly. So I think that that's some good advice. The other thing that I want to just remind people is that, like you said, I think it's a great idea is to just get in and just do it. And teach.udemy.com is a great site, which is part of udemy.com and the Udemy Studio, to start getting in there and seeing some of this stuff that's going on, and just start creating a course on whatever you're passionate about. So we've created our course, and now it's time to change gears. The next step is that you're going to have a launch and you've got to start marketing. So how about some advice on marketing for Udemy courses? What are some of the things that have worked for you?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting, because I'm still kind of new and I'm getting to play with this kind of stuff and see what's working and isn't working. Now, when I first started Udemy, the main idea of Udemy is that you need to kind of drive traffic to your site to make sure that Udemy is seeing your course and they're getting interested to help promote your course. So the general consensus is to offer free coupons and to get maybe 500, 1,000. It used to be a lot more. I think it's a little less now, but you want to give out some free coupons to drive traffic and kind of get that engagement built up. And then it feels like Udemy takes traction and they start help promoting your course, especially if they see a bunch of people coming in, leaving reviews, discussions, feedback, that kind of thing. It's showing engagement, and Udemy looks for engagement. So that was when I first started the consensus, give out free coupons and then you can start charging or giving discounted coupons. And that's what I did, and it worked great. Like I said, my first course made some pretty good money. When I launched the other Canva courses, I followed the same strategy, and I've done really well with those courses. Now, when I made the personal branding course, I said, and this goes back to the testing, I want to try something different. I'm not going to give out free coupons. I might pass out a couple to my friends, and talk to them about it. But other than that, I'm not going to go to the sites and offer, hundreds of free coupons. Let's see what happens. And to be quite honestly, the course has not done good. It never hit first page of the category that it's in. My course is called Personal Brand Building. That name is a category inside of Udemy. If you go to, I think it's personal development, there's a category called personal brand building. I did an awesome job with the SEO of that course, but it never got to the top charts. And I think a big part of that was that I wasn't driving students because I wasn't giving these free coupons away. And the course has not made good sales. I think it's been up for maybe 2 months now, and it just really hasn't done good at all. And I did good with the promotional video and the imagery and the copy and everything, but it just didn't do really well. So You
Interesting.
know, part of the strategy, I think, is just trying to get that engagement. Once you get students in the course, trying to get them to leave discussions and feedback and reviews for you. And then, you know, as far as marketing and advertising, it just goes back to, you know, going on sites where you can host coupons for your course, going on Facebook groups where you can post coupons. But the bigger picture for me now, that I've developed talking to different instructors such as yourself and some others, is that you need to start really thinking about a marketing funnel. And that's something I have not done yet and something I'm building now. I'm going to start creating a brand and a marketing funnel. So instead of just trying to blast my coupon all over the web, trying to get people involved, I want to create engagement before they ever get to my course, which might be blog posts, newsletters, free YouTube videos, things like that, where I can start getting people interested in me as an instructor and then can start trying to lead them to the course.
Great, great. So, the next question that I have in mind here for you is just maybe some, I know you're only 4 months into it, but some advice that you would have for other Udemy instructors. It doesn't necessarily have to be marketing or course creation. It could be maybe like a tool or something like that that you use, because a lot of times, I mean, there's so many different tools out there and different platforms. We both use Mac. I used to use Windows. So we've got things like Camtasia Studio, and then we've got Camtasia 2 for Mac. Is there something out there like some kind of tool, or maybe just something that you would want to share with other instructors?
I'm trying to think of some good ones. Yeah, I come from an audio video background, so I use like Adobe's Creative Cloud Suite because
Mm-hmm.
that was a decision my wife and I made where we didn't have a whole lot of extra money to spend. Right now, it's $50 a month, but I get so much out of that software that it makes it worthwhile because you have Photoshop, Illustrator, you have Premiere for editing videos, After Effects for creating effects for your videos, Audacity for doing audio. Now that stuff might be a little more for some advanced users, but that's my background and
Yeah.
that's what I've used. And since making that investment, I mean, that's one of the best investments I've made so far.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be afraid to use some of the free stuff out there. I mean, if you're on a Mac, I use QuickTime when I record on a Mac. It's free. I subscribe to Screencast-O-Matic, which is $15 a year, and it's a screencast recording software that you can do. You can download and have it on your computer, or you can sign on to a website and start recording right there on the website, and it'll save it for you, which is really cool. So if I'm not maybe in front of my computer, I can go somewhere else and record stuff just going through their web browser. It's a great program. You can do edits and cuts, fade in, fade out, transitions. You can highlight stuff. You can draw stuff on there. So $15 a month. It's a great piece of software. It's called Screencast-O-Matic.
Yeah.
And
I've
then
used that.
I use Google Drive a lot. I have fallen in love with Google Drive because I've always been looking for that one piece of software that I can use across different OSs because I
Yeah.
actually run Mac, Linux, and Windows. So Google Drive makes it really easy because I can create a
Yeah.
document no matter where I am in the world or what I'm doing. I can log on and edit that document. So it's great for me because I can work on my outline in Google spreadsheet on my PC. But then if I want to take the laptop and maybe I go out of town or I want to go to the coffee shop, I can take the Mac and sign on to Google Docs and edit it there also. So I've fallen in love with that. Dropbox is a great one if you're
Yeah.
maybe doing a course with someone else or you're sharing files with a video production team. Dropbox is easy. Just throw it in there. Very useful stuff.
Yeah. They pretty much all like do that. OneDrive by Microsoft. And the thing that I like about them, like you were saying, you use different platforms. Well, I went from Windows. I bought a Chromebook because I wanted to see what a Chromebook was like. And I really like my Chromebook. It's actually down under here, under my desk there. And I haven't used it in a while because my MacBook is something that's really easy to throw in a bag and take on the go. But I've got a tablet, I've got an Android tablet, an Android smartphone, and like you said, I can access you and I, like the questions that I'm asking are actually coming from, I have them in Google Docs. And if I wanted to, I could grab my tablet and set it over here too if I wanted to. and look at that kind of stuff. And I have Skype on my tablet too, so I
Yeah.
mean, I could do Skype and that, so it's kind of cool. So, what about newbie instructors? Maybe something a little bit different, like just a simple piece of advice that you could give them.
Just I would say just try not to get too bogged down in the quality. You want to have a good quality course. Don't misunderstand me, but people just get too nitpicky about things, and I think they just need, like I said, to get a course out there and launch it and see the process. And you don't have to make it overly complicated. I'm going to use a Udemy instructor and a buddy of mine, and I'm sure you, Dennis, John Colley, who's an amazing instructor. And I haven't used his process, but I love his process because what he does is he makes slides, and he basically uses the same slide setup for all his courses.
Yeah.
And he throws in live talking head video of himself. So I know he's got to do some editing, and you got to put the information in the slides. But that is just brilliant because he's found a way to streamline the process a little easier for himself. And that allows him to just get more into the content, information, and copy, and also make more courses because he's already got this kind of template set up, and he knows that template, and he does it the same way every time. And I think it's great for beginners because if you think in that kind of terms, you don't have to get too worried about editing and all this stuff. Just come up with the easy thing that you can manage and do, like creating a slide and using that slide over and over again. Another thing about John's courses is that when you see it, you know it's his because you know that's his slides, you know that's his stuff
too. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at my personal branding course and you look at my Canva course, completely different courses. One slides and it's got its own little brand, and then one is like screencasting me doing the software. So you might watch both of my courses and not even know that they're mine. You know, you will know, but you know what I'm saying. The thing about John's is if you see his courses, that's his brand, that's his thing. And that, I mean, think in those kinds of terms. What can you do to make a process, maybe make it easier for you in the long run? And it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It can be something simple like making some slides and using those slides for all of your lectures.
Yeah, and you might even find somebody on Fiverr.com that would create those slides for you, and maybe like a cartoon character of yourself, because Rob Coven does that. And so you can throw that into your slides to create your branding, and have somebody on Fiverr maybe create both of those for you, and then use those every time that you create a course. Because I think about that too. I mean, I'm 6 courses into it, and every one of those courses pretty much has a different look to the slides. And the next course that I'm doing, I'm using the same slides that I use as the last course, but it's still no like branding or something like that. So that's a good thing to think about from the start. So let's talk a little bit about revenue so we can give people an idea of what one can accomplish on Udemy. And I want people to keep in mind that this is different for everyone. You've got people like myself who in July started off, July of 2014, 2 weeks into it and made $14. My best month was May of this year with, at that time, 4 courses at $1,200. It dropped a little bit, and you know, Udemy sometimes makes changes, and I think some of it's seasonal because I used to work in retail. Can you talk a little bit about like where you're at right now on Udemy with revenue?
Yeah, definitely. So I was looking at my reports before we started. Like I said, the week that I was on, I made about $25, and then the first full month that I had launched 4 courses, which was the Canva course, which was new, and then the other 3, and that was my best month, and that was in what was that? June. June was my best month. It did really great. July almost met June's sales, so it was a really good course. It didn't quite make it there, but it was very close. And then August completely dropped out. August, I think, was a slump for everyone. Yeah. And like you said, it might have to do with the time of the year, summer, vacation, all these different things going on. And then it picked back a little bit in September, and October's looking to be a good month. Now, if I average those 4 months that I've had complete month sales, I average about $500 right now. Now, keep in mind, like I said, my personal branding course hasn't done well, so I usually don't count that. And I also have a free course. So I would say I have 3 paid courses, and they make about $500 a month average, which isn't bad. And to me, it's a numbers game, because if I'm making that, if I can 10 times the courses, I can 10 times the money. And I tell my wife that, it'll probably even go up exponentially, because the more courses you have, the more cross promotions and different things going on.
It's never 2 times. It goes up. I'm not, like I always talk about, math was my worst subject, but we know that happens. So if on 4 courses, because at that time one of them was free, my best month was $1,200, even though it's dropped some since then. Now I've added another new course, and I've got more coming. That the more courses that you add, then the more sales you're going to see, because you can start cross promoting in between. And you want to make sure that the courses are kind of within the same, like I specialize in marketing. You're doing some stuff with video and graphics and things like that, which people who like that kind of stuff tend to buy, into all of those courses. So it happens. So I think that's really cool that you're at that right now. And I see you in the groups, and I see kind of what I was doing is that you're out there, you're learning, you're keeping yourself out there in front of people. And that's, I think, what it takes to build a really good business model on Udemy, is building relationships, not only with your students, but other instructors too.
Right. Let me jump in real quick, Dennis.
Yeah.
I just want to add to that. You made me think of 2 separate points, so I'll try to remember both of them. One is that one thing that a guy I listened to, Grant Cardone, says is your biggest problem is obscurity. People don't know who you are, so you got to get yourself out there. You got to talk, interact, get to know people. And people don't buy the product; they usually buy you. They buy who you are. So you want to get yourself out there and show people that you're willing to teach and the things that you can teach. And then one thing that you mentioned too, keeping light courses is definitely the probably the best idea, keeping similar courses because of the cross promoting. I'm going down the realm of audio video, so all my courses are going to kind of be within that realm, some audio, some video, and I can change it up a little bit here and there. One interesting thing is who I think it was the CEO of Udemy or someone in Udemy. I think it was a CEO on a podcast I was listening to, and he did say that their numbers do show that people tend to buy very different courses. Someone who enrolls in your graphic design course, their next course they enroll in might actually be a cooking course. So don't be afraid to try different things either. If you have different hobbies and skills, try different things, see what works. Maybe you find out, you put all this time and effort in graphic design and it doesn't do good, and then you make a cooking course and people love your cooking courses. Well, then you kind of figure out where to go from there. So don't be afraid to try, different things also. And it's great for me because I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I love a ton of different things in life, so I want to make a course on everything.
Maybe I can do that. Like when I have the place to myself, is do
You're a good cook?
A cooking course for single guys or something like that.
How to make 121 ramen noodle flavors.
I think that you need to do one specifically on tools like Canva that are for Udemy instructors to create not only course images, but images for advertising, like the one that you did just last night for your Udemy promotion for October. And I actually sent that to Lindsay because I thought that was very creative, just to show Udemy some of the stuff that instructors are doing. So that was pretty cool. So we've talked about revenues. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but you're absolutely right. Start thinking of other ways to repurpose your content. I mean, like you said, I can do a course on how to use Canva, but then I can do a course on how to use Canva to make an ebook, how to use Canva to make a presentation, how to use Canva to make a Udemy course image. I mean, whatever you're doing, try to think of different ways to take that information and break it down even into smaller niches, and then you start cross promoting more because, if you take my Canva course, I can now promote these other ones to you also. So I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, or Canva to create your own Fiverr gigs or something like
Yeah,
that too.
exactly. Hmm.
So there's just so many different things. I mean, there's never enough time in the day, it seems, to create a lot of this stuff. And I know that you're up late. I try to stay up late, but it seems like the older I get, that I want to be to bed at a certain time, or else I like to try to get up a little earlier in the morning and start my day earlier. So, yeah. So, what about some of the stuff that you've been able to do? I've seen, I mean, for me, I've gone on a couple of road trips, and I think that you've also taken your family on some vacations from the income.
Yeah, we uh much needed vacations for the sanity of the family. I have a 2-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy right now, so it's just the daily doldrums of working and doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, it gets to people, and like they say, you never really have the money to take a vacation, but every time you definitely need to. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was able to go to the Keys with the family one time, which was kind of a spur of the moment, and we had a lot of stuff paid for. But it was nice knowing that I had some income from Udemy to kind of help with that, that little vacation. And then my wife and I had a pre-planned vacation to go to Tennessee in the mountains and go and hang out in a log cabin, just me and her for a week with some friends, and that was great. Like I was able to do those things. Even more importantly, I would say, or more recently, is being able to reinvest the money, which is really what I tend to focus on. Now the vacations and summer's out of the way, all the money coming in now is going to be paying bills and reinvesting any bit that I can. So, for instance, we were talking before the call about Macintoshes, and the MacBook Air I have is a 16 by 10 screen format. And Udemy wants a 16 by 9 HD format. So you can do a couple things. Well, you can get a program to turn the screen into 16 by 9, but it shrinks it down. And when you're on a 13-inch screen and it gets smaller, it gets a little hard to work with. So I was able to purchase a new monitor this past week with the revenue that I got from my
Mm-hmm.
August sales. Like I said, August was the lowest month for me, but I took that money and reinvested it into a 23-inch monitor that I can hook the Mac up to, and it's
Yeah.
in the 16 by 9 format. I don't have to mess with programs. I don't have to shrink the size down. I don't have to do any additional formatting. I plug it in, start recording. I can see easily. So, it's great having that income. And I just see big, big things happening the more income I can generate. Eventually, when I can start replacing my job and doing this full time, and then getting to a point where I actually have profits, like real profits, I plan on having people helping, production team, a copywriting team, an advertising team. I got big, big plans.
Yeah, like I was just thinking about that with the monitor. Those things are so cheap now. It's
Hmm.
like the prices are just unbelievable. You can't see it, but right behind here is a 32-inch Samsung LED TV that I bought for $210. I don't use it a lot because I don't watch much TV, but I can connect the MacBook into it. I'd like to mount it onto the wall or something like that. What I would really like to do is Phil Ebener, another Udemy instructor, has one of those the stand up desk and then a crank to be able to lower it to sit down
Yeah,
because
I love that.
I have problems with my back, and so
Yeah.
I want to stand up because it's just better for you, especially with what we do where you're creating courses and things like that. And then I've got a Blue Yeti microphone, and you shared a photo of your desk setup, and I thought I think I've done that before. My desk is a collection of things that I've bought at thrift stores, as well as the TV and then some to do lists. But I might actually take that picture and post that when I actually do the physical book because I think it would
Yeah.
be cool to
Go
show
for it.
some workspace and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So you've gone on some trips and stuff like that. What are maybe some upcoming courses that you're working on right now that you can talk about to add to that revenue and add to the amount of courses that you have?
All right, so this will be a good time to talk about this. It's October, and everyone's getting ready for November Black Friday sales. And like I said, you want to have good courses, but I also want to have a lot of courses and start branching out a lot more. So I'm putting a lot more time into Udemy now. As I mentioned before, I need a marketing funnel. I kind of need a brand. You know, it's great having my personal page. My name's Jeremy Deighan. I will give you $50 if you can spell it and hit my page on the first try. So, you know, my name is a little complicated. So I've been looking at doing more of a branded type structure. And this is kind of the big project that I've been kind of working on for the past month or so. And it's going to be my focus till the end of the year and beyond. So I'm creating a website that is going to be called the audiovideoacademy.com. And it's going to focus on creating, you know, audio and video type information, blog posts, and what have you, and trying to get people in that newsletter and that marketing funnel. So all of my courses coming out are going to be centered around audio and video. Everything from songwriting to making podcasts to voiceovers to doing video production, creating Udemy courses. It allows me to kind of open up this gamut of courses that I want to create. And something that it's my profession. When I created my mastermind group and I was new to online business, one of the guys in there asked me, hey, you know, what do you do? What do you know most? And I was like, well, I know the AV world, but I don't know how to use that. I finally think I found a way to use it to my advantage where I can start teaching people how to do good audio video production. And the AV world, there's a lot of sub niches and things to it. So I'm really excited about this project. The courses that I am currently creating to this day, when we get off this call, I'll hit the record button and start making lectures. Yeah. It's actually going to be on GarageBand for the Macintosh. Now, this is the first time I've let anyone know this. So, Dennis, you're getting the sneak peek here.
I don't think I've even opened up that application. It automatically comes with the Mac, right?
Yeah. It comes with a Mac. If you don't have it or you upgrade it, it's $5 now. Yeah. And a lot of people don't really use it, but I'm going to open up their eyes to what it can be done with it because it is an awesome, easy to use piece of software. Yeah. So I'm creating, just like the Canva course right now, I'm making an introduction to GarageBand course. That's what I'm currently working on. But the future holds for me a lot of audio, video type courses and going to that website and drawing people into that funnel and then showing them these courses is where I'm headed.
Well, since you live in Jacksonville, you're not too far from like being able to go overseas, so maybe that's where your next family outing will be. So I know that you have to do some recording, so let's just one more question and then I'll let you tell people where they can follow you at online and then we'll wrap it up. Just one last thought or piece of advice that you have before we go today.
You know, like I could probably tell you 100 pieces of advice, but just get out there, keep striving, you know, think about what you're doing this for. Is this a hobby? You know, do you just kind of like making a couple bucks on the side? Is this, you're like me, you're working a full-time job that's killing you and you want to move away from it and start, you know, blazing your own path? Is this going to be your livelihood? One thing that I do, I do stress a little bit is always try to be working on your personal brand because, you know, platforms come and go. You will always be there. So you need to make sure that you're also securing your own kind of brand, your own kind of style and who you are and getting yourself out there so that, God forbid, Udemy goes down or gets bought out or algorithms change or something changes, that you're still working on yourself. That's probably, you know, one of the big takeaways that I always keep in the back of my mind. When I was doing T-shirts, I was doing them on one of these companies. You can create the design and then sell it. And I made a design, and they hit me for copyright infringement. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it was ridiculous because it was a saying out of a movie in reference to a character that wasn't even like. It was ridiculous. It was just absolutely ridiculous. So they shut it down. And it really like was eye-opening to me. Man, they can shut me down at any time. They can stop my designs at any time. I can spend hundreds of hours into a design or money into a design, and they can just say, no, we don't want it. Udemy is a great platform. They've had a lot of investors, really. I think Udemy is going to be along for the ride for the long haul, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that you are getting yourself out there, your brand out there, and getting yourself exposed. So in the event that something happens, or maybe you want to move on to bigger or better things, that you're working on yourself and not solely relying on any one type of platform. That's kind of my mindset right now, and that's why I'm building this project and trying to get a bigger brand for myself out there.
Thanks. So, where can people find you at online? Give me a couple of places.
Okay, so you can find me if you look at my name, Jeremy Deighan, Jeremy Deighan, as in Nancy. You can find me on Facebook, Jeremy Deighan Online. You can find me at Twitter, Jeremy Deighan, Pinterest, Instagram, on all the social media networks. You can type jeremydeighan.com. It'll bring you up to my personal site where I sometimes put some coupons and different things. And then, coming up will be the audiovideoacademy.com. The site is not live right now. I expect to have it launched I expect to launch it sometime in November before Black Friday and start trying to generate some traffic. But just keep an eye out for that. And are you accepting coupons for the interview? Because I can have a coupon for you if you'd like.
Yeah,
If that's something you're doing.
I'll actually put that like with everything because I'm going to post this online, and it's also going to go into some other stuff that I'm working on.
Mhm.
So you can give that to me offline, and then what
Okay,
I'll do is make
cool.
sure that people get that because you know how things change and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and we didn't
So
discuss it, so I
yeah,
figured I'd ask.
yeah.
No harm in asking, right?
No, no, not at all. I mean, I'll make sure that we get that out there. It's just I'm going to put that stuff in the book, and then there'll be links to this kind of stuff, so people will be able to watch the video, but they'll see what the coupon codes are or where you're at online, so they don't have
Cool.
to guess how names are spelled and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so that's it. I want to thank you for your time. I can be found online at dennisjsmith.com. I'm everywhere else, but through dennisjsmith.com, you can find me in other places. Jeremy, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate having you on with
yeah.
me today. And I'll be in touch and let you know when the book's ready so that you
All
can
right.
take a look at some of the other interviews. You're number one, so I really appreciate it. All
Well,
right.
Dennis, you're doing awesome work, man. I appreciate everything you do. If this is your first time hearing about Dennis, you need to check him out, man. He's great at marketing and advertising. Awesome Udemy instructor, really kind guy. Always has answered any questions that I've had in a personal message. So I'm very grateful for that, and I hope you do awesome on your book, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day or evening wherever you're at. Take care.
See ya.